Hello and welcome to I've Ran Out of Things to Say podcast. My name is Vincent and I am here with my co-host Cody.
Hi.
So, Cody, it's week 3 into this amazing, amazing Halloween edition, October Halloween month.
It's amazing.
Yes, the rise of the evil, or whatever we called it. I'll insert here. Doo-doo. But obviously we're going to be talking about tonight. Let's howl at the moon a bit and talk about some werewolves.
I see that moon rising.
Yeah. Ow, werewolves in London. Alright, that's enough music with that. So, obviously werewolves are another popular monster that originated from folklore and is widely known. Obviously, we have, in European cultures, you have the lycanthrope, the werewolf, the half-man, half-wolf.
Man, bear, pig, wolf. I'm just...
Man, bear, pig.
Man, bear, pig.
That would be South Park lore.
Excelsior lore.
Alright. So, Cody's super excited about werewolves because obviously he's a major fan.
Yeah.
So,
major fan. Teen Wolf, all the way. Jeez Louise.
Oh, God. So, let's start off with, obviously the lore of werewolves is that, obviously in England, they talk about a man being attacked by a wolf under a full moon and becoming a werewolf. In Native American culture, you have the SkinWalker, which is a creature that is like a lycanthrope, but what it does is actually sheds its skin to take the form of another creature, including humans, where it can actually change its voice to match it.
Shapeshifters over there, huh?
Yeah, and then you have shapeshifters. That's a whole other one.
Yeah.
Where they can, freely change their form. But tonight, what we're talking about, and these other ones we'll cover a little bit later with, origins of, creatures and stuff, because we're really going to spread the origins out to, very important, fun things that we like and enjoy. But tonight we're talking the classic werewolf. We're talking, howling at the moon, uncontrollable changes, that kind of thing. And obviously some of the comics or movies we'll reference, they're going to be ones where some of these guys do gain control over their powers, and they can do that. But, we're going to start it off. And Cody, you already mentioned Teen Wolf. So let's start off with the campy side of werewolfism.
The campy side. That movie was probably the first werewolf movie I ever saw when I was 6 years old. And it was the campiest, funniest, movie. But it was still really scary. That was the first time I saw something change into a werewolf in a film. You've
lived a very guarded life. The first werewolf movie I ever saw was The Howling. And I'll get into that.
I saw those too shortly after.
Yeah.
And then I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That shit is scary.
Now, when I grew up with an older brother who loved horror movies and family members that it was I was raised on Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so that's it's one of those things where when I saw Teen Wolf it was like, oh, he transformed.
That was that was the first one and then I followed all the scary shit fucking ones you saw after that.
Yeah, exactly.
They wanted to break me in gently.
Here, Cody, watch this. Oh my God! Hey, Cody, you want to see The Howling? Holy sh! Holy Zanzibar, man.
Holy Zanzibar. Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen, Silver Bullet, a Stephen King one?
Of course.
That's fucking awesome.
The book was amazing.
Yeah. I got halfway through it, later on in life. Probably 3 years ago when I was in school, I was like, ooh, PDF. And I got, halfway through it.
Finish the book.
Yeah.
You gotta finish the book. It's good. But obviously we talked about the campy one, and there's a couple other ones,
Werewolf in London.
Werewolves in London was semi-camp. They had some funny,
That was
undertones.
Still a funny one. Like,
yeah, it was funny. Oh, it was funny undertones, but that
like
one
dry British humor.
Kinda. I mean,
craziness.
Yeah, but I mean, still at the end of the movie, it was a gory, you know.
Not even a happy ending.
No. Just everybody turns into werewolves and eats each other. Spoilers.
No, that's not even what happened.
Yeah, they.
American Werewolf in London?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Dude, he gets hit by a car.
Yeah, do you remember the fight scene with the other werewolves?
Yeah, that's a dream.
Yeah,
he
I know.
Has a dream. That's what he was,
Yeah, I wasn't going to spoil the actual ending.
Well, it's fucking like 40 years old, dude. Like, oh, yeah.
I know it's 40 years old, but it doesn't matter. It's just the fact that, like, it's a joke of spoilers. We live in such a society that, like, you can't even spoil something from 10 years ago, you know?
No, it's, like, so old if you haven't seen it by now.
Yeah. Well, that's like in The Howling, you know, you talk about influential scenes.
Yeah. B-rated, B-rated. When I say B-rated, I mean boob-rated. Like, boob-rated.
Well, yeah, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what made me want to get into special effects work.
Yeah, those are good.
The transformation scene where they built that rig, and they never showed a transformation on screen like that. That was one of the first movies. And just to see them tear off the flesh and change, and like to see like the machinery of the snout pop out, you know, like when I saw that as a kid, I crapped my pants. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I'm like,
no.
I'm like werewolves before that's like, oh yeah, they just change and stuff. Yeah. This one showed like the agony and the pain of transformation. Yeah. It's not like being a vampire or a zombie, you know, like a zombie you get eaten then you turn into a zombie. A vampire you get turned to a zombie because someone like drained your blood and made you drink their blood. Yeah. You know? Werewolf, you have to nearly pretty much die.
You pretty much get like a crazy ass form of rabies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get mauled beforehand because there's not like, you know, the guy gets nicked. I mean, you know, we're not talking about that one with Christina Ricci. What the hell was that one? What the heck was that one?
I can't remember.
Do you remember that one? Christina Ricci. What was that one? I'm like it's gonna bother me, but like it was another one. The guy from Dodgeball, you know,
Ben Stiller?
No.
Oh, Vince Vaughn?
No. He's an unknown named actor.
He's an unknown?
Yeah, he's not unknown, but it's just like I never remember his name.
Jason Long or
maybe
Justin Long?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a newer one. I haven't seen it.
No, it's been out for like 5-6 years.
No, I mean newer, like after the 90s, after 2000.
It's been out for a while, but I'm. Oh, it's gonna bug me, and I'm just gonna. I'll have to look it up later and insert it in the notes because of the fact it's just gonna bug me. But it's like it's one of those things where, oh man.
I think one of the best transformations is in American Werewolf in Paris, like the reboot of the London one.
Yeah, but
that's
I mean,
a pretty good one, dude.
It's good, but I mean, like, it took its cues from the Howling, and that's the whole thing. Is that like
basically it was the Howling? Like
it's the same. Like, and that's how they started doing transformations, which really humanized like people turning into werewolves. That like it wasn't a process where you could be like, oh, I'm just gonna turn into a werewolf, you know, like and just now I'm a werewolf.
That movie was badass though, because it finally it came out in the mid-90s. And, like, it rebooted, like, werewolf.
Well, yeah, that's when, in the 90s, that's what we started doing again, was we really started going back to, like, the monster horror. Not so much, like, you know, the chainsaw-wielding guy or the guy with the hatchet or machete. We went back to primal fears. Mm-hmm. And that's what werewolves are. They are a primal fear. It is a creature that stalks you at night that is pretty much unstoppable. The only way to kill a werewolf is a silver bullet.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Wolf?
Yes.
With Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer. That movie's badass. That transformation's badass too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not as intricate, but when it shows him, like, looking all fucking Wolverine, like,
yeah,
that's badass. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was really cool.
It's good. I mean, it just, like I said, the only reason I go back to Howling all the time for, like, werewolf transformations is because of the fact that they showed it. Mm-hmm. And, like, it was such an amazing thing to see on screen because of the fact of, like, before it was always, like, this layer over effect of, like, you know, normal face and makeup face, normal face and makeup, and, like, it changes.
Yeah, like a million times.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, you know, you pull on the Howling and the guy's like, oh, and his hands are stretching on the screen, and you're like, it was like watching, John Carpenter, what was it? The Thing.
Oh, The Thing, yeah.
Yeah, like seeing that for the first time. Where you get this, like, you know, like, these practical effects. I mean, there weren't special effects. Practical effects are just
crazy.
like, just, you know, it's like, holy.
Yeah.
You know?
Intense.
Especially when you're a kid, you know, like, you don't understand what special effects are. It's like, you're like, oh my god, that's really happening to that person. Yeah. You know, it's like, makeup can't do that. It can't. Well, it actually can, you know? It's like...
It'll tweak you out.
Yeah. But then we got into the, like, after the 90s kind of started, like, tolling down, we kind of got stuck with, the romanticized werewolves, where, you had, Ginger Snaps was one, not so much romanticized there, but, you know, it was kind of, you know, it pulled back the
gore.
Yeah. Well, it's still pretty gory, but any werewolf movie is really going to be, you know, with exceptions of some. But,
Wolfman.
Yeah, Wolfman. Well, that was a classic they did. Just well, not just. It's been a while for that too, but they redid that, and that was good. I like.
Yeah, the reboot with Anthony Hopkins, or who was that guy?
No.
Yeah, dude. Or
no.
Bob Hoskins. No.
No.
Who was that dude? Who was the dude from... No, it wasn't the dude from...
No, he's, I'm trying to think of his name.
Silence of the Lambs, but that was Priest, or whatever.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to think who it was.
It was like a dude from Van Helsing, or some shit.
No, it wasn't. But,
Benicio del Toro.
That's it.
Yeah.
Del Toro, yes.
I don't know why I was like, what? No. Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, definitely Del Toro was. And, man, it's just like with werewolves, I'm so scatterbrained because of the fact of...
I've seen millions of them.
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean,
thousands. No,
it's
like
the same,
hundreds.
like, with any movie monster, but, like, you never get a solid werewolf. I mean, werewolves are just random people that transform into werewolves. I mean, like, you don't really get, like, a saga, so to speak, so much out of them. You don't.
Yeah, but you can get it with Sid Meier, or not Sid Meier, whoever that chick was. With the...
No, with the Twilight Saga. Yeah, but that's not a werewolf either. That was... Well, I mean, those were
like
lycanthropes. They were lycanthropes.
With abs. A puppy with abs.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I'm not taking away from her artistic beliefs and stuff. It's just...
It's cool.
To me, it was like such a personal
geared,
hit.
Yeah.
It was a personal hit to my childhood. And
more
like,
geared towards women is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. You know, just people who want to see even more romance.
Yeah.
In like a genre like that. It's like, you know, they want to take out the gore and everything that comes with it. And I mean, she made money off of it.
Or kids
you know?
too. Like
yeah, exactly.
Kids.
Well,
or young kids or whatever.
Well, that's the problem with society, is that we were too worried about, like, young kids being, you know, desensitized to stuff. We watched
like
a bunch.
Like we're all desensitized to all this.
Yeah.
Really crazy crap.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Probably a little bit bad. That's probably why they're, yeah.
I don't know. Did you need a safe place in college?
A safe place?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, exactly.
Oh.
It's okay. The world's a dark place. We gotta get used to it. It's okay. You know? Werewolves exist, okay? Confirmed. Oh, you're talking about Underworld. That was Pima, if you didn't hear her. She's just slightly off. Underworld was a good one. Because of the fact of they covered that, it was a bloodline between families that created vampires and werewolves and the immortal. So, you know, the one son bitten by a bat, the one son bitten by a wolf. You know, what I have to say about that is that those two sons really didn't know how to handle animals. You know, and obviously the one was, you know, he went crazy because of the fact that that's just what happened. But that movie, like that trilogy of movie, or now it's even more. I think they just they're at 5. It's ridiculous, you know, but it's good. I mean, now they're kind of getting to a point where, yeah.
They're still making Underworld movies?
Uh-huh. They just recently did one.
Are they like straight to video?
No, I think this one's going to theaters too.
What?
Yeah, it's like, it's ridiculous. But I mean, like with that one, they really covered like more of like how closely internet that they are by one bloodline, because they make a hybrid in that, which is half vampire, half werewolf. By the way, looked amazing, was cool, had so much potential. They rarely used them in the movies that followed.
Yeah.
Like every time they would like bring him on, they'd be like, "Oh, they killed him," and then he'd come back to life because you couldn't kill him by conventional means. And it's like, okay, so we're not gonna get the hybrid, whatever. But oh man, just back to werewolves in general. I mean, in comics, you know, it's always the same pretty much storyline. Person gets bit and stuff. You don't get too many, like, differentials. I mean, every now and again you'll get, like, that one indie comic that'll be like, oh, man, well, werewolves are actually, you know, this hybrid mutation in humans, you know, from canine genes and stuff. It's like, they try to, like, do this whole thing, like, Devolution, which is a comic. It's indie. I believe, I want to say Image is the one that does that, but don't quote me on that one. But
they did. Some kind of
I'm trying to figure out because it's fairly new, but like they covered like the idealism of people like de-evolving, and like basically you get some of the hybrids out there that are kind of like lycanthropes and stuff. I mean, you can call them that. You can call them Neanderthals, but I mean they may have more animalistic characteristics than a real Neanderthal would, you know. But and then in books, obviously you get. There's not that many books about werewolves that aren't more like a lore behind or like a retelling of the same old, like, guy gets bit by a wolf, becomes a wolf at full moon, gets shot with silver bullet, the end. You know, it's like, but I mean, like, it's not bad, and you made comment a very popular story, which again, anytime you have werewolves, vampires are always close by. It's just how it is. You know, because, I mean, Van Helsing, you made the comment of that one, and that one is, you know...
That's kind of tied into the Underworld.
Exactly.
Like, saga or whatever, like... Wasn't one of the people from...
Well,
Underworld?
Kate Beckinsale was in both movies.
There was no cross. There was
no, there's no actual cross, but we'll just say there is, because it's Kate Beckinsale, and,
it's
you know...
dope, I'm not gonna lie.
No one could lie, no.
Yeah, she looked pretty cute in Click.
Oh yeah, she was in Click too. She was getting a lot of roles back then. But we're getting off topic with werewolves.
I let her linger.
Are you gonna start singing the Cranberry song?
No, that's a stupid ass song there.
She did this weird video picture of rebirthing her child as an adult. It was really weird.
Okay, if you didn't hear that, off mic, Pima just told us that Kate Beckinsale did a picture, like a recreation picture of her child at birth, just recently, and she had that kid like 10 years ago, right? Yeah, so that's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
So, as you can tell, werewolves aren't werewolves are cool, and like I love the idea of like being able to transform and stuff.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that it's just like, come on, if it was controllable.
Being human.
Dude, I loved Being Human. That was like...
Again, we're going to mention it, but like, the transformation in that one is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. And that one made it so, like, so sad. Like, because of the fact of, you know, he had some sense of his own, like, reality when he was in the werewolf and stuff. It's
Yeah.
like, but the weird thing is that in being human, they've really made it look like this like weird like bear-looking creature almost.
Yeah.
Like at least that's how I saw it and stuff. And that's another thing that I wanted to bring up is the way werewolves look, because it seems like anytime you turn around, they're always reinventing what a werewolf looks like.
Huge ass, hulky, like.
Yeah, and I mean, like, classic belief was that basically you're a hybrid between a wolf and a human. So you would be standing on two legs, have, you know, basically the haunches of a wolf, and have the features of a wolf. So you'd have a long snout with a big mouth, and, you know, you would have the pointy ears, and your fur would be patchy at best because of the fact that it'd be spread out. Or you'd be fully covered in fur, you know? They really... I noticed that, like, in later renditions, they added claws and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, well... And it was like... I always assumed that it would turn into, like, a werewolf claw where you'd have, like, the 3 claws. You know? And nowadays, like, when you see a werewolf done, they have, like, a whole hand.
Like a whole paw?
No, like a whole hand, where, like, they're, like... They have a usable hand.
Yeah.
You know, like, I always thought it was going to be, like... At least because of the fact that whenever you see, like, a werewolf attack someone, you have the traditional, like, 3 scratches. You know, and that's how it is. You know, the 3 entry points. It's like, what are they, holding their thumb and their pinky finger when they're doing it? You know, it's like, Or they're like,
Yeah.
For you people listening to the podcast, I just went with the limp hand movement for my werewolf attack.
Yeah.
You know, 3 fingers out, you know. Very limp wrist, you know.
3-fingered cloth.
Kinda. But, I just noticed that, like, in a lot of other, like, movies and stuff, this is one thing I hate to admit, but because of the fact of, like, in the Twilight series, I like that they had that ability to become full wolf.
Yeah.
Because a lot of werewolves, they do have that ability to change into a full wolf.
A she-wolf. Wolf.
Are we talking about Shakira?
Wolf. Wolf, wolf, wolf.
Jeez. But I mean, like, it's weird to see, like, the differential in them. I mean, like, Underworld made them look more like cats. Like, they were, like, really going back. Sleepwalkers. Stephen King.
I just forgot about that.
Yeah.
Sleepwalkers is another very awesome movie.
By Stephen King.
Very, very awesome movie.
So.
Really good. Very good soundtrack. If you not heard Santo and Johnny, Sleepwalkers, look at that on YouTube or download it. It's a damn good surfer tune.
It is.
Damn
it
good.
definitely is. And it's such a weird, like, that was like a weird movie. Although, in that movie, I have to give him props that cats were the answer to that.
Yeah. That movie was badass.
Cats. How are we gonna get past this? Cats.
Cats.
Alright.
The cat lady freaking ate them.
Yeah.
Cats. Wow. It was
Dude.
weird.
Yeah. And that's the thing with werewolf movies. They're always, like, really weird. Like, there's always, like, this weird, like, you just...
Premise, like, weird.
Yeah, it's like, it's very primal. Like, any werewolf movie is always very primal. I would love to see, like, a newer werewolf movie where they have the ability to transform at will, and they have the ability to go from, like, the classic 3 stage. Human, hybrid, wolf. You know? I can kind of see that. But that's the problem with werewolves, is that they don't really give you too many options. And, you know, it's just, it's a damn shame. Because of the fact that they really have potential to, like, grow. And I know that we haven't really covered too much on werewolves themselves, but that's because of the fact of it's such a vague topic on it. And I love werewolves and stuff, but, like, once we go down farther with some of the other origins that are going to be coming along, we're going to have the SkinWalkers, we're going to have shapeshifters and stuff. We're going to go more in depth into the history of them. But when we did the research for werewolves, everything was pretty much the same. You know, any culture really does it with the exception of, like I said, skinwalkers and shapeshifters. You know, it's person gets bit or they're possessed by a demon and they transform, and that's it. You know, there's not any really good records of it. Like, you know, vampirism, you know, we have, you know, all of that. You know, it was physical body changes. No one's ever, like, gone on record and said, oh, well, I found a werewolf. You know, it's like, always, like, after the werewolf gets shot, it transforms back to a human. It's like, okay, so what you're telling me is you just murdered some guy because he was crazy.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty much it. And that's how the story goes for most lore, is that, like, no one can ever prove it was actually a wolf or a werewolf. It was, you know, oh, well, the hunter found this guy, found the werewolf, shot him, and then when he shows him, it's just a dude. So it's like, but, you know, to me that's kind of few and far between. Unfortunately, no matter how much I love werewolves, I've ran out of things to say about them.
I've also ran out of things to say, Vince.
So, thanks for listening, guys, to week 3 of the October pre-recordings.
Ooh.
Yes, insert scary noise now.
Ooh.
The last and final topic that we're going to be talking about is one that I think is going to be the best. Save the best for last. It's kind of a hybrid. We're going to be talking about 2 separate ones. It's going to be an hour-long one, but it's going to be 2 separate ones. It's going to be inanimate objects coming to life.
Yeah.
And the other half is what usually brings those to life, Cody. Poltergeists and witches.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the occult in the last one, along with inanimate objects. So look forward to that, because it is going to be fantastic.
Fantastical.
So, you know, thanks for listening.